Well, what had been a quiet corner of the U.S. Midwest is now the epicenter of an ecological fight, prompting demonstrations across the nation. Protesters and police remain locked in a tense standoff over the Dakota Access Pipeline. It's a proposed means of transporting crude oil across the states, but also a major concern for the people who live along its path. On the freezing plains of North Dakota, a bitter battle that shows little sign of abating.
It's nothing more than ecological racism.
One side calls it essential infrastructure. The other calls it a danger to health and entire communities. This is the Dakota Access Pipeline, a $3.7 billion project intended to connect and a project destined to divide. Here's the plan: to pump crude oil from the rural and energy-rich north-central U.S. to Illinois, more than 1,200 miles to the east. From there, it can be transported to refineries on the eastern seaboard and the Gulf Coast. The pipeline is slated to run under the Missouri River, and the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, whose land borders the route, says it would affect its drinking water supply while putting communities further downstream at risk from oil spills and contamination. Protests have gone on for months, but have recently turned violent. 400 protesters facing off against well-armed police.
They were met by brutal force with water cannons, tear gas, pepper spray, and rubber bullets, and in an unbelievable amount. It was horrific. It was a horrific scene.
But police say they're facing an ongoing riot. These images, published by the North Dakota Joint Information Center, purport to show improvised weapons used by the protesters. Construction of the pipeline has been delayed, while the Army Corps of Engineers engages in further talks with the Native American community. And as anger bubbles nationwide, this saga clearly has many miles yet to run. Well, Michael Knudsen is a coordinator for the Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council. He's attended recent protests and calls the resulting violence a man-made police-perpetuated disaster. He joins us now via Skype from North Dakota. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Help our viewers understand why it is that events escalated the way they did at the weekend. What did you personally see?
First of all, thank you for having me. Very honored to be here. In this action, I can't say exactly what started, the escalation. What we know is that demonstrators, water protectors, were intending to pull a truck off of the bridge to unblock the road, as this roadblock was preventing people from traveling freely on a public highway, and it also preventing people from being evacuated with emergency services up that road. So that was kind of the beginning, and then police showed up, and what I saw was the escalation from there. Water cannons for 8 hours straight on Sunday night, as well as rubber bullets, flashbang and concussion grenades shot directly at protesters.
And you're saying that you saw the police firing these concussion grenades, something that the police has rejected, has denied as having happened. You saw that?
Yes. Over the course of 8 hours, every couple hours periodically, I would see them fire these flashbang grenades out of cannons, as well as the tear gas canisters out of cannons. We were on the south side of the bridge in a triage area. I'm the logistics coordinator for the Medic Council. And what I saw was many being fired into the crowd on the north side of the bridge on the police line, and then some even being fired across the river, probably 150 feet across the river.
There were injuries after this clash, this confrontation that started late on Sunday night. One young woman was seriously hurt, a 21-year-old Sophia Wilansky. Many questions being asked about how she came to be injured in the way she did, almost losing her arm. Take a listen to what we're hearing from her family and from the police. Take a listen to this.
Intentionally, a police officer threw a grenade that hit her right in her forearm and exploded right as it hit her forearm. There are many witnesses, and they had shrapnel. They said, the sheriff's office said that they did it to themselves. They blew up their own bombs or something. That's ridiculous.
There is no merit to that. But I assure the citizens of North Dakota, the citizens of Bismarck-Mandan area, that law enforcement is investigating this, and all the facts will be out there.
Michael, what do you make of that? Police saying that there's no merit to that and that they're looking into how this all played out.
So first of all, I just want to express our deepest sympathy to Sophia and her family. It's a horrific event. You know, the Morton County Sheriff has never reported the truth for the most part. We constantly have to fact check them and publish videos that media and you know, other media is covering here. I personally interviewed the public information officer in a different action about some of the reports that they had been reporting on, and he said that they had never ever seen a police report. Nobody had ever filed a police report about these things that they were publishing on their Facebook page and their media. So as far as we're concerned, we can only speak to what we see, and what I saw was the flashbang grenades and everything.
And Michael, very quickly before I let you go, because we're almost out of time, we know that the Army Corps of Engineers is supposedly having talks with the Standing Sioux tribe. Can you tell us where those conversations are right now? What is happening? Is there any room for compromise here?
So to be honest, I don't really know. Last we heard, they were on a waiting to give the permit until there was consultation with the tribe. I can't confirm what the talks are right now, but what I can say from the medical perspective and health perspective is that police are consistently escalating. With every action, there's a new escalation, and in this action, we saw we treated 300 people. Total 26 were evacuated to 4 different hospitals, including Hennepin County. And this is an example of police violence unprecedented in my state that I remember, and where they're using force that could be potentially lethal, especially given the weather conditions with the water cannon in 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's what I can speak to.
Well, Michael, we appreciate you joining us and speaking to what you've seen. Of course, police saying that they were dealing with, they calling the group, the protesters, as basically a riot, effectively, and posing problems to safety. But we very much appreciate you sharing your perspective. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
And thank you so much for having me. Good night.